Hello everyone, this is Crystal and welcome to my channel where I share card making techniques, sweet paper crafts, and now inspiring food ideas. Today I will be showing you how I created this card making my own vellum. This is for the April 2019 Color Card Challenge for Created Home with G. So please stay tuned as I show you how to make this really nice and easy vintage card. Okay, first thing on this project we're going to do is we're going to make our vellum to go on the front of our card. As you see, it's crinkly. You can also, it's translucent. You can put something behind it and you can see it. Well, that's not a very good thing. But like, see, you can see that bird or whatever, anything dark. So anyway, what I did is I started off going to the internet and I googled free vintage images, and this is what this was originally, and I just did it on copy paper. You don't want to do it on cardstock, you just want to do it on copy paper, because this method won't work on cardstock. And I'm going to cut part of this away so I have a smaller section to work on. And what I'm going to do, you know, I could use that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my distressed oxide in. I'm taking Victorian velvet and tumbled glass. And I'm going to change the picture. I'm going to ink it up a little bit. Because our colors for this challenge are pink, blue, and yellow. And these have quite a bit of a purple look, so I'm trying to take some of the purpleness out and change it more to pink and put some blue in here. And you can do this with almost any, you can do this with any picture. I have several items that I have made with this method, and I really like doing this method. It's just, you never know how exactly it's going to turn out. Each one is totally different, but it gives it an old nostalgic look. As you can see, it is paper, so it doesn't want to, and see, I didn't cut it around the edges of the lines in case I would accidentally tear it. Now, this next step is, I'll show you, is where the magic begins. Now, I got this container at the Dollar Tree, or not Dollar Tree, Dollar General. It had one of those steamer pans with it, and this was the lid for it. So I'm going to put this in here. And then I'm taking baby oil, just plain baby oil. And I'll be brushing baby oil on it. As you can see, it's already changing some because there's some residues of baby oil still in that. And the hardest part of this whole technique is getting the baby oil open. Okay, I'm just going to squirt a little bit on my brush here. And I usually do this over my trash can, so because this fits right down in my trash can really nice. And that way I don't have to worry about it dumping on my work surface. But you just want to brush it back and forth. And a lot of people would say, well, doesn't that cause your ink printer to run? No, because it's water-based. Water would, but not oil. But you want to make sure you've got a good coverage, that the paper is completely saturated. And I think it is. I have an old towel here. I'm going to take this out. Set my baby oil aside. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to start drying it. You want to dry and take off the excess baby oil. And this is probably the crucial part, is getting all this baby oil off. You want to get, because you don't want to leave ink residues on wherever it touches. You know, especially in your junk journals where it sits up against. And you can put this between like 2 pieces of paper with a book on top of it and squeeze a lot of it out. But I found the towel works really good. And then I'm going to take my heat gun and some paper towels. So you can see this side. See that side? It almost looks the same. And now I'm taking my heat gun over it. And when I take it over, the oil will kind of bubble up on the surface. And so I'll take a paper towel and I'll dab it off. And this will help it to dry even faster. So I keep doing that and doing that. You can let it sit overnight too, but I was in a hurry, so this is the method that I decided to use. I'm taking a piece of cardstock, white cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm cutting it down, and I'm using scattered straw, tumbled glass, and Victorian velvet. I started off with my scattered straw, and I decided to do the center of it yellow because I wanted to brighten up the picture. Plus, I also wanted to make sure that it was translucent as much as possible. And then I took the Victorian velvet and went around the edges of the card stock. And then I'll go back over it with the scattered straw again, just to kind of blend the colors together. So they look like they, are all blended together. It isn't just a Mod Podge and a mess. And now I'm going to take my tumbled glass, and I've got this Flourish stamp that I have, and I decided to use it. And I'll stamp off and then stamp on the outside around the edges of the cardstock. And in the center, I'm just going to use straight on because that's where it's going to be seen through my vellum. And I wanted to make sure that it just showed through the vellum easier. But I'll just go back and forth, and I'll turn it around different directions until I get the whole front of the cardstock with the blue flourishes all over it. And then when I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to take my sponge, and I'm going to take and I'm going to sponge around the outside edges of the cardstock with the tumbled glass as well, just to give it a more softer look to it. And now I am taking my sentiment and I'm stamping it off into the tumbled glass. And it says it's a good day, which I'll ink it up and I'll hold it there for a while because I want to make sure it really gets a good stamp because I can't do it again. And I'll take my heat gun and I'll go over it just to dry it really well to make sure I don't smear the ink. And then I just spritzed it because it's a distressed oxide ink and I wanted it to give it a more vintage look. So I'm using my heat gun to dry it. And now I'm taking a pair of scissors and I'm cutting off the excess paper, which I wouldn't recommend using a paper trimmer. I mean, even my guillotine doesn't work that well for this next step. I found that just a sharp pair of scissors works the best. And after I get that off, then I'll take ink to it again because I don't want to have the white lines around the edges of it where I didn't cut close to the paper. And next here, I'm taking my art glitter glue and I'm putting lots of art glitter glue on. Normally, I wouldn't tell you to use a lot of glue, but for this I will. And I just kind of spread it around all over. Usually on vellum, they tell you not to use a wet glue because it shows through, but this art glitter glue dries clear, so you don't even notice the ink at all on it. So it works really, really well for this method. And I'll just kind of lay this on here. And once you put it on, you're stuck where it's at. You can't really move it or anything either. Then I took a brayer and I just rolled over it just to make sure I could get most of the wrinkles out and that it would be smooth. And there you see. Now I'm taking a piece of green cardstock and I'm going to pop it up on it. But I decided first to ink up the green paper to kind of soften it just a little bit. I'm using scattered straw for that, and I think it gives it a nice softer touch. And now I'm popping it up on foam tape, and I'm just going to put it in the center of the green card. Now I'm taking a piece of off-white cardstock for the card base and taking some of my Victorian rose or Victorian velvet, and I'll just ink around the edges of it to soften it up. And then after I do that, I'll pop it up again on foam tape and stick it to the card base. And then my project is finished. And if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel and click that little bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Bye for now. Happy crafting!